When you reach the Forbidden Planet, you explore all the wonders of a vanished civilization.
You are now in forbidden space.
Shh! Those words are forbidden!
Welcome to Forbidden Planet, I'm Blake.
I'm Kristin.
And this is going to go up on the 4th of May, so may the 4th be with you.
Yay!
Star Wars Day.
It is.
Or, as it should be known, Random Merchandising Day for a sci-fi license from the 70s.
Hey, whatever. Take what we can get, right?
So we never got a chance, actually, to talk
really
about the
review
trailer.
It. You're right. Or the Star Wars show, yeah.
Because it's been a while. We're actually doing this podcast back to back with our guest one with Brian and Kevin. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're gonna put this up on May the 4th. Anyways, the Star Wars was huge on me when I was a kid. Obviously,
yeah,
nerd.
as well as even semi-nerd, I think.
What?
Even semi-nerds.
Yeah, everybody really, but I mean...
If you like Star Wars, you got a little bit of nerd in you. So.
If you like space and you're a nerd, you like Star Wars.
Right, and that's true as well, yes.
I like both Star Wars and Star Trek. But the trailer came out, not the teaser, but the actual first trailer, and... Actually, you know what? I think this one might actually count as a teaser as well.
It's so short.
An actual trailer is
at least
2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
This trailer, I think, was like a minute 20.
Okay, that's still really short.
But it did so much. Like it brought me to tears the first time when, by the end of it, I, went through the whole range of emotions, save for anger and disappointment.
So why did you get so emotional over it? I
don't know. Maybe the nostalgia. Maybe the fact that, like, with the trailer, the feelings it conveyed, kind of the emotions it evoked from me, were so close to when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And the excitement of Star Wars.
Seeing it done well.
Not even the prequel movies. Like, I remember being excited for those, but I wasn't. It wasn't the same.
I was super excited, but all in all, I mean. Those were just disappointing as a whole. Yeah. I don't know. I think I was ready for it. I mean, I loved Star Wars. Mm-hmm. It's just they weren't good movies, unfortunately.
Like me thinking back to when I was a kid watching the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Compared to like when I was a teenager, and that's when the prequel movies came out. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, I was a kid, just a couple of years ago. Right. And now it's like a lifetime ago that I first saw those movies, and watching it was so close to that same experience that it then hit me in this nostalgia button.
And now it's just we've been talking about it with all these fantastic looking movies coming out. Is that visually they're nothing you ever could have thought would exist when you were a kid.
There's no limit, and once they got past the whole because there was a time when. CG came think they were given all these tools and they weren't using it correctly. I think.
They were doing their best, but they were very limited in what they could do, and they did, like I said, they did the best with what they had. But it's like you go from. I mean, Star Wars was a fantastic movie, period. I mean, the graphics weren't
the
there
original?
yet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
and,
I know.
It just wasn't what it was. It's just beautiful, and it seemed like on the other ones...
It's a pioneer.
Right, and it just seems like on the prequels, it just seemed like they put it together really fast. They got really cheesy with it.
That's the thing, is like, it was just, I don't know.
Well, I don't know. There was a cheesiness about them that... is not conducive to the original story.
There's something to be said about like the original, like so George Lucas had a huge part in the prequels. Actually, I think he directed most of them. Mm-hmm. But there's something to be said about taking this beloved franchise and then handing it to the people that grew up with it,
right?
Who revere it as
and saw those prequels and were like, no, this isn't what we wanted to see. What the fuck is going on
They're
here?
like, no, you need to treat this with the respect it deserves, goddammit. I'm not just a consumer,
Yeah, it really
I also
all
love it.
makes sense if you really think about it. Yeah, it was shit because you had a bunch of old codgers trying to do these movies. Now we've grown up. We are good at these things because we grew up with the technology. Our visions are coming to life because we made it happen, period, the end.
A whole generation of people who write fan fiction about this shit are now making the movies.
Yeah, and getting funded for them, and it's really great. Oh no, your computer became unplugged. What do we do? What shall we do?
Yeah, we saw the trailer in 3D before we watched Age of Ultron.
Yes, Age of Ultron. What a... Wow, brilliance.
What a fantastic movie. I don't know. I love Joss Whedon and I love Marvel and all of their movies, but I was taken by surprise by how much soul that movie has. Like, how does, you have Marvel who, yes, they're Marvel. Yes, they have, they have a soul, but Disney owns them, and, it's a movie pretty much created by corporate need to have this franchise, and it's like, but the movie has so much freaking soul, and it says so much more than not just blockbusters of its ilk, but just really movies in general. It has,
absolutely. I was just reading this article about the origination of the Vision, and he was created in 1968. Actually, very old. And funny thing, the dream sequence where Cap was in the USO event, when they were whatever, the band that was playing was actually a tribute to the creator. The band was called the Roy Thomas Players. And that's who created the... Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The Vision? Or did he also... I can't remember, because he was created around the same time as Ultron.
Yeah, so...
For pretty much close reasons. The story, it doesn't, you can't just lay it over the comic book. The film and story ones don't match up, but it's like, like we said in the other podcast, Marvel knows how to, organically just fit the pieces in to where it still keeps all of the heart and meaning and everything, and adds to it, in fact, of the original story in the comic book. But it... And so,
there's this quote from Roy Thomas. He was in an interview, and he was actually talking to Stan Lee about it. He said, I said, what if I brought back the Vision from the old comics? Nah, just do an android. I never asked him why. He didn't care what I did as long as I was an android, so I made him an android and called him the Vision. Right? And he looked a lot like the old one.
That's funny.
I think in the movies they are making related to those gems of Thanos. They're going to use in the next two movies, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah,
that's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, the Vision was
great.
Always just I always wondered, because they when they started talking about him, his costume obviously
Stan Lee didn't like his costume.
It's
he thought it was ugly.
The same, but it's muted, or it's muted in the movie. In the comic book, it's bright.
Yeah,
it's very bright, and I think it's pink and green. And it's essentially the same, and they really make it work, though.
That's really cool. Yeah, Stan Lee was, kind of really opposed to the whole idea, but he felt
the
strong.
Original character, okay, yeah.
Well, no, about the character, because he was just talking about the character in the movie, and how he didn't like the color, he didn't like how he was turning out, but he just kept on, he didn't like the name The Vision, but he kept all of that.
He's referring to the creation of the Vision originally.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was that the original?
Yeah.
Oh, God, sorry. That was horrible on my part. Never mind.
Yeah, Paul Bettany was perfect. He makes a perfect superhero.
Yeah.
And he's been in the movies ever since the beginning. He's literally been in well, maybe not all of the movies, because Thor and anything that doesn't have Tony Stark in it, pretty much.
Right.
But still, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic, and James Spader as Ultron. I don't know if I was expecting a robot, him acting like a robot, but right from the beginning, it's just bam. It's like a consciousness. And it was really great.
It was a consciousness before it had the body, and it had to create the body, and it was really cool.
And he was
how
funny.
They did that. He was.
He was funny. I liked him. I liked him as a bad guy. I was actually kind of... Now, he did die off screen.
Which is weird.
You know, it's... Which is funny, actually. That article in IO9 I read about the comparing this Avengers to Superman in Man of Steel. It's talking about how, like, he... you know, blatant destruction of the city, millions die, whatever, and then he snaps the bad guy's neck in front of, like, the public.
Yeah, that was
in order to
up.
get his ends done, and he kills people, and it's like, well, not people, but he kills the enemy.
Yeah.
In Marvel, they're saving people all the time, like
that's their whole
the
mission.
detriment of their own situation, like. Yeah, and the detriment of the world as a whole. They can't stand to see people die. Ultron is this, like, very... He's kind of relatable. He's a very...
Well, and Ultron is just... Really what it was is Ultron is a consciousness. That's purely what it was. It used the body to get around, but, I mean, you never know. And he... Really, in a sense, he's really not
crazy.
Dead. Yeah.
He was just crazy, like he just, but he had no choice to be crazy because of the situation he was put in.
Exactly. I mean, when and
and
it's like, what's the easiest way to get to peace? Well, destroy everybody.
Then the way I don't know, it's just weird. I've never, like I said, I've never been emotional during an action sequence, like a CG heavy action sequence. Sure. Like when the finale of the movie. Yeah. It's just really good.
It was fantastic. Yeah. I got emotional. I would say, like, super emotional a little before Quicksilver died. Yep. Yeah. And then from there it was just waterfall. Because it was just such a beautiful... I mean, to be able to take a relationship like the Hulk and Nat and turn it into something quite beautiful, really. Yeah. The lullaby, the whole, like, oh my god, it makes me cry even now.
Yeah, it's a weird, like, contrast that it works. In the first film, if you remember, he hulks out on the helicarrier, and he goes on his rampage.
And he sees her.
And he nearly kills her, and she's, like, seriously in shock after that point, and scared of him.
Well,
even
she realizes who he is
end.
When he is the Hulk.
And she's just, like, terrified. And then, like, you cut to however long the Avengers Age of Ultron is, and it's, like, that fear and
she made it a goal to see the true him inside of there.
To where she understood him.
Yeah. And he saw herself.
Her. Yeah. She's a monster inside. Yeah. I mean, that was a big theme in the movie. Yeah, exactly. We're all monsters, right? Yeah. You know, you move on. Be a better... whatever. Yeah. And so they took it just
was
evolved.
Fantastic.
It just flipped and it worked.
Like like seeing it at first I was like, are they really doing this? Like when they were flirting at the bar and stuff, I was like, they're not really.
And then he's I've seen her flirt. This isn't that.
Yeah, and like it was just as it progressed, like God, I haven't had an on-screen relationship give me butterflies in a long time. But it
Mark
did.
Ruffalo, he's got that, like, quiet everyman thing going for him, and it's just really interesting.
Yeah,
to see those dynamics, because she's, you know, they are opposites, but they work because they aren't opposites.
Yeah. Oh no, it's great. Yeah. I am interested to see what they're going to do with the Hulk, though, next. I don't know. I don't remember, like, a lot of specifics about Planet Hulk, but it was one of Ian's favorite movies, like, when he was a kid, or he is a kid, when he was a baby. So we watched it a lot. And I remember not hating it, you know? It was entertaining. So if they can do something like that, great.
It'd be fantastic. Like, I
Hulk
love
in
the
space?
Hulk.
Are you fucking kidding me? How cool would that be? A Marvel movie where Hulk is in space.
I'd buy that. Of course, they set it up. Next one's Ant-Man, and yeah. So and then after that, I think is I can't remember if Thor. It's Thor Ragnarok, and then Civil War, Captain America: Civil War.
Okay.
So those are the next two that'll really set it up, or next three, actually, I should say.
Yeah.
I thought it was incredible. The effects were amazing. It was just so much. I don't know.
Solid. It was a solid movie.
I liked it so much more than the first Avengers, which I loved as well.
Yeah.
It just seemed like this movie worked.
It really did.
A lot better.
It
like
did.
it just, yeah.
It did. That everybody was great together. I think what made a difference, the big difference was Joss Whedon. I think because
he was on both though.
Right, but for some reason at this point, did he write the other one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he said he came in and he wrote
There was
a script
just so
and they
much
had
more
these,
of
like,
himself in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like you said, and he said, I just stopped giving a fuck. Because you have to at that point, and you have to, because I think that movie for Joss was like huge when he got that. It was massive, so he's probably catering to,
They
whatever.
gave him Avengers, and he wrote it. But I think when he came in, like the universe was already established.
Yeah,
they had already made.
He
a
was
few
nervous,
movies.
and he did
I
what he
think
could.
Avengers was the first movie that he because he took over. Well, he helped with all the other movies after that.
Right.
But they just handed him Avengers and said, "Okay."
Yeah.
And so he had to fit into the constraints of what came before.
Right.
And kind of work in his own thing, and this time. I remember reading an interview, and they were like, "Okay, well, what do we do next?" And he's like, "Well, you have to do Ultron." And they're like, "What?" And he's like, "Of course, you have to do Ultron."
Yeah.
And so then he did his movie. So yeah, I think maybe you're right. Maybe he did this was his. It's his magnum opus.
He had the freedom, and he utilized
God,
it very
that man
well.
can write dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I
That's
can
great.
listen to him talk. Like I remember watching a concert where it wasn't a concert. It was This American Life on stage. And he came out and he played the piano and sang his own song.
Yeah.
Have I ever played that for you?
Oh yeah, the Firefly one.
No, it was it was him singing. It was just on the stage.
Oh yeah, I
And
think I've seen that before.
He's singing about how the business basically sucks your soul out.
Okay.
Yeah. But he's just a fantastic writer.
He is.
He's just a smart man. And visually, I didn't know he had this in him.
Right.
He's a I love Serenity and all that, but I never Serenity's a beautiful movie too. But he's just really done amazing.
He really has nearly, if not just completely, perfected his talent. And now it's just he's got the tools that he needs, and he's got the heart and the imagination to write it. Yeah, one of the greatest men of our time, that's for sure.
I don't want to take up the whole podcast with Age of Ultron, especially since people hate spoilers and whatever. I don't know.
We've spoiled it already. There's
but, I mean, this is a
nothing.
spoiler podcast.
But you know what? There was another. You were talking about the action sequence and getting teary-eyed. It reminded me of Ready Player One.
I was just about to go there. All right, so
I finished it.
You finished Ready Player One.
Yeah, definitely one of the best books I've ever had the pleasure of reading. That's for sure. It's hard to describe the impact that this could potentially have on people. I'm even thinking they should make it required reading in high school.
It would be a fantastic book to read in high school.
Yeah,
because people would be interested in it. There were only maybe 2 or 3 books that I truly loved. Yeah, that I remember to this day. Those were amazing books. They impacted my life. Yeah. In high school, that would have been one, man. Yeah, it's just.
Oh, I would have been ecstatic. Yeah,
and I'm not entirely sure that.
I don't think it really matters. I think just the whole. This nostalgia was great.
It would be interesting,
but it didn't
to see what
keep
they
me
did
going.
Think about it. No, but because to us it's nostalgia. To them, they don't know.
They don't know. It's just a story.
It explains it. And they're like, really? That's a thing? And it makes you wonder. Would they go Google it? It's like, let me go.
Maybe, but what I think. In my opinion, it doesn't really matter. They might. It could create another 80s rave type of thing, but no, I think it's just the whole message of the book. Like I said, the nostalgia was awesome, but even if I didn't have that nostalgia in that book, I would have kept going regardless.
It's like they introduce you to the characters, and then when they start opening up into they drop so many subtle details about the world that once
Sometimes I thought they got almost a little too detailed with the worlds.
I don't know. I thought that it was really because they didn't do it all at once. They never told you exactly how things were.
It was minimal.
But once it opened up to the world, you kind of accepted it.
Yeah.
Even though it was
there were just some parts where I was just like reading, and it was like basically saying the same thing over again, and I was like, okay, whatever.
What do you mean?
More of it was in the description of things. Mainly like the planet and stuff. I don't know. I can't think
of like he was describing the game world.
I think it was so minimal that I really didn't pay much attention to it. It's just I was just like, oh, I thought, okay, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then I just kept reading because it's a really fucking good story.
Oh man, it was like the funnest book to visualize in my head.
Yeah, and full of surprises, and you just don't ever you keep guessing until the very end, basically. And that's just what it is. And it's funny. The thing I find that's funny about that is because you know how it's going to end. They say in the beginning of the book, this is about me. I did this. I beat this. But you don't care. Yeah. You're just like, it's awesome.
Do they specifically say that in the beginning?
At one of the very first paragraphs this is a story about me, the person who beat the game or whatever. And then it goes from there. I don't think we should. We spoiled the crap out of the movie, but the book. This is one book you need to read. Of course.
Now it's been optioned for movie, right?
Yeah, Steven Spielberg's directing.
Yep. And screenplay is by the author himself, Ernest Cline.
And I already have the list of people I think should play the parts, so we'll see if that pans out.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
It's just.
You need to read it.
One of my favorite all-time books. If you have a long commute, I suggest getting the audio version of it. It's read by Will Wheaton.
Yes.
And he does a great job.
Yes.
It's really funny. It's actually he's in the book too.
Yeah. Very very briefly, but he's in there.
It's just funny that they mention him.
Yeah, it was a good nod. Mm-hmm. I liked it. The guy really just took everything he loved, just like the main character, like the creator of the game in the book, just everything you loved and put it into one thing. Like, there you go. Here it is. Love it.
It was just so much fun.
Yeah.
I can't even.
Yeah, and I've said it before. I mean, the things that are coming out of this culture that's gaining in popularity every day is just you're seeing good people with good ideas, genuinely kind and humble. And they're portraying that message in what they're doing in all aspects of art. And it's great. I'm happy about it.
And
there's amazing people coming out of the woodworks, even though there's a lot of bad shit going on.
There's everybody, too. And it's being encouraged. And it seems like everybody who goes, hey, you know what would be a really cool thing? This. Mm-hmm. And they go, oh, well, I can't find it anywhere. So what do they do?
The stigma is over now.
Make it.
Yeah, the stigma is over there. Yeah. There's no... people now more than ever, I think, are at a point in their lives because it's been so fucking depressing for so long. And now, because we've seen the bad growing up.
All the nerds are growing up.
We saw it. It was good, and then it just got progressively worse when it was supposed to be like the best time of our lives. When we were at that age of like adulthood, going into our 20s. We had one of the worst wars in history happen, and it was worst presidencies in our lifetime.
Every generation has a war, to be fair.
Right, but I guess you can take my point being is that we've seen a lot of shit. Yeah. Being in a privileged country, of course, but a lot of people in our generation got really involved with the politics. They saw, as much as we could. What?
I don't know. It just seems it's so incremental at this point. It's like just now starting to help.
Well, see, but that's the good part, and that's what I'm saying is like now that our generation is at the ages where we're at, seeing what we've seen over the last 10, 20 years, we're finally saying, okay, enough is enough. We're going to stop being told that we can't do things, and we're going to put our message out there whether you like it or not. And it's happening. It's a huge movement that's going on, and yet so many people don't even see it.
Yeah, what is it? They call I think the movement's called civil rights.
Well, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. People are banding together a lot more than they have been in the past.
It's true. There for a long time, it seemed like, and this could be
we were
being pushed by corporations and stuff to not. We were being coerced to not care about.
Well, because we were told we were given this. We were told as children that we're in America. And you have all this opportunity when you get older, and then everything happened the way it did, and we went through one of the worst depressions that we'll go through in our lifetime. We were young at that point. We were at the point where we could just start buying houses and things like that, and a lot of us got wrapped up into that and took advantage and ended up horribly in debt, and it was devastating, for so many people. And to experience that at that young age, it makes you strong. It makes you strong. It just gives you a will that's
it definitely set my expectations for life a little lower than they should have been.
Right. And so now seeing what's happening with people standing up for themselves and saying, enough is enough. I mean, it's great. And the art that's coming out of it and the love that's coming out of it and the people that I've met coming out of it, it's great. You have to enjoy it, You gotta love it. Yeah. Because that's what we've got right now. It is.
Oh, if we don't start treating each other, like we love each other, then this world is going to implode faster than it already is.
Yeah, just relax. You got to relax and just take it all in. Enjoy it for what it is,
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's great. Speaking of when we were kids, the Full House.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a reboot for Full House. Or not
it's
reboot,
not a reboot.
but,
it's a sequel, I guess, or a continuation of the story.
I don't know. It's kind of like how Degrassi, they take the kids.
Never watched that show.
They take the kids from the old show, and then they become the parents to the new main character.
Right,
kids.
it's just a
continuation.
It's the same
thing. Yeah, it's just like they're gonna. It's just like there's a new season. Only there was a 30-year gap or something. 20-something gap.
Yeah.
Because it stopped. I want to say it stopped in 1997. Is what the article I read.
Yeah.
Went for 9 years.
Yeah, it was a great show. I liked it a lot. It was my go-to on Friday.
I remember watching it a lot, but I don't remember why. But I don't remember it being particularly
TGI
funny.
Friday, because it was with those other shows. God, it was just on,
the TV that we remember as being so great is so bad.
No, it's
so
not.
bad.
Whatever. It is not. It's fantastic.
No, it's so much crap.
Boy Meets World was hilarious. Full House was great. It showed a progressive. There were a bunch of Family Matters. All those shows that came out were showing progressive families. And I was stuck in a conservative Christian family and being told no all the time and for ridiculous fucking reasons. Kevin and I were talking about it yesterday. How it's like. Growing up at that time, if you had religious parents, there was this huge boom of all these things coming out as being satanic.
Yeah, there was a huge span of time in the 90s.
X-Men were satanic, and all these people were just horrible shit. And so you're watching this stuff, and then all of a sudden, and loving it, and then all of a sudden being told that it's bad. You're like, why? Did
you ever notice how they had all the cults and the Satanism? The Church of Satan was like they started to get put in the limelight a bit more, and then once people stopped kind of paying as much attention to it, then it was Satan or kids violent video games on kids who also were Satanists.
Well, it's always
the Satanists got pushed away. And then it was just violent video games. And now what is it?
Well, because people are becoming... See, it's funny. America is the land of God.
Yeah.
That's how they always portrayed it. And there was a bunch of old
Despite
religious
the fact
people.
that there is supposed to be a literal separation of church and state.
Right, exactly. Well, yes, that's a given.
But God is included in everything, of course.
So yeah, but now people are getting more outspoken, and they're like, no, we don't want God in this. Even if we do believe in God, there shouldn't be that there, and they're becoming more outspoken, which is good. So they have to find other ways to portray that fear mongering that they always have.
No, he's going to pass the buck.
It was
right?
easy to use God, but now they can't use God as much as they used to. So now they have to use something else.
It's not the
like
parents.
terrorists
It's
or
the
something.
such and such. That's new.
Yeah, no, it's just. But anyway, so yeah, just it's funny because you look at that and there's like, yeah, that's why I was just like, when I finally got to a point where I could question what I was being told that whole time, I got out of it as soon as possible because it's really stupid if you think about it. Like, yeah, I fucking loved X-Men. That was like my favorite show of all time. And then all of a sudden, I can't watch it because blah 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 says that Jean Grey is a witch and she worships the devil. No, I was banned from watching it after a certain
what's
point.
funny is that those are the reasons you couldn't watch, but really the entire concept of the X-Men is based around gay rights.
Yeah.
And so it's like they totally it went over their heads.
No, they see
so
anybody
stupid.
using magical powers or accepting other people for who they are, and it was automatically.
And they automatically
the devil.
discriminate them, just like the
Sodom and Gomorrah. You're going to hell.
Mutant
type
Registration
of bullshit.
Act. They're the kind of people that would register the mutants.
Yeah. No, I was telling Kevin, I would stand in, my dad was the youth pastor too, and he would bring out these albums from like Vanilla Ice or whoever, and they would literally burn these albums because they were of the devil.
Stink.
We did it outside, but
still stink.
We'd have big bonfires burning, all kinds of stuff.
So I'm assuming they don't steal. So this is what they did. They went and purchased the product so
or
that they could publicly
or something.
trash it. Well, somebody had to purchase it.
Well, no, what it was
still
is
made the
people
money.
coming into the church that owned these things saying, I'm ready to let go of the
But
devil
they still
here.
purchased it. So it's like, down with this music. But I already gave them my money, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
I still supported them.
It was more of a semblance thing. Like
I know.
It's a
I just
symbol
think it's ironic.
Right, it is ironic. But yeah, it's the whole, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but it taught me a lot. But it was just, that was funny to think about that whole boom because there was, and it's really comical. There might be a movie like a who does goofy movies? I want to say Wes Anderson, but it's not a type of movie. I don't know. It could be a good campy, funny movie.
Well, are you talking about an existing movie?
Span of time? That whole span of time where the religious boom was like saying, it's bad, it's bad.
Well, they have a couple documentaries where about that period of time and the... Yeah. I know I watched something that referenced it, but I didn't watch any of the ones that was specifically about it, about the fear mongering and stuff, and it's all just... Who knows? Who knows why?
Because technology came in and they... Well, I know why. I know why. It's because...
Well, I know. Somebody wanted it that way.
Yeah, it is, but it was legitimate to them. All they look at is the bad stories, and they don't look at any of the good, and automatically it's just bad,
And then they made Fox
It's something
News.
they don't understand. Therefore, it's bad.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Well,
that really was not what the point that I wanted to get on at all, but yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Tangents are good.
Yeah.
Let's see. What happened? We already talked about. Free Comic Book Day was yesterday.
Yes.
They had a preview for Fight Club 2, the sequel.
Oh yeah.
And that's something I'm super excited about. Chuck Palahniuk, however you want to say his last name. I know it's wrong. How I'm saying it, I mean. Not his name. His name is not wrong. I'm sure his name is correct. Just how I'm saying it is wrong. He wrote the sequel, and they put it out in comic book form, and that comes out in 2 weeks. The actual issue, but they put out a preview. Yeah. That was really the only thing I was particularly excited about. Yeah. I just can't keep their Marvel and DC are each having their summer events.
Yes.
And
DC's is Batman v
Marvel is
Older Things.
Fuck, what is it called? One of them's Convergence. One of them's another. They're both basically taking all the realities from all their various comics, and for a month smashing them together.
Yeah.
And so, if I was to keep up with that correctly,
It's
I'd
just
have
too
to
much.
buy like 50 books.
No, it's too much. It's just
I can't do that.
much.
I mean, I keep up with Batman. And
we
a couple
will
others,
have
so
a
it's
store
like,
soon,
yes.
so it's not like you can't read them.
Yeah, I'll have plenty of time, and I'll have to because I'll have to know my that particular product. We are this. Oh yeah, well, I guess we'll announce we're going to open up.
Well, let's say we're very
barring
very
any
close.
major complications.
We're very
we're going to
close,
open up.
knock
We have
on
a
wood.
location picked out, and that'll be pretty exciting. Pretty soon we'll be doing this podcast on a more regular basis for the business. From our very own podcast studio in the back of the store.
Studio meaning maybe a bathroom.
No, it means office with better microphones than the ones we've been using.
Yeah.
We had to go back to an old microphone because the one we have been using, as you guys probably know, was hissing and just always has distortion, and generally sucks.
And this is the Xbox
Guitar
Hero one, and it works just fine. And we have a stand for it now.
Super legit, right?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that'll be exciting.
And the next time we'll definitely
more
have seen
details.
Mad Max by the next podcast.
We plan on
at
actually
least.
group seeing Mad Max because that movie looks amazingly crazy.
Yeah. It looks awesome.
I actually wanted to...
My mom does it. My mom and Graham, my stepdad, they don't know what Mad Max is. And
You've
I'm
never
like,
seen The Road Warrior?
no.
Wow.
I was like, what are you, like...
We should send them the DVDs. Or at least 2 and 3.
not one. I don't even know. I was just like, how can you not know those movies? It's weird.
I don't know. Mad Max the video game is coming out. It's not related to the movie. It's coming out probably because the movie's coming out this year, but it's not related to
It'll
the movie.
just be a post-apocalyptic fight from...
It's made by my favorite developer. It's made by the guys who make Just Cause 3. Or Just Cause series. And yeah, it's you said apocalyptic Grand Theft Auto, and that's okay with me. I'm alright with that.
No, it sounds fun.
So that's one of my 3 games I'm going to buy for sure this year.
Well,
Arkham Knight.
If you haven't played Terraria yet, you should play that.
Yes, you were balls deep in Terraria.
Of
Kids
course.
got you hooked on that one, actually.
Yeah.
How random.
And you know what's funny is I'm playing it and I'm like sitting there thinking, I totally understand why they watch all those videos. They just don't explain much to you in the game, and so it's really... And there's so much to it, like just random things you find. It doesn't tell you to place them anywhere, but if you place them, you might get this extra thing out there. So it's like everything is so random.
You know, for a while, video games were getting to the point where they were hand-holding you so much.
Yeah, it's true.
And I think this is like... This craze, or I don't know what it is, this habit that they've had lately... Because I spend more time on the internet looking up information about Warframe than I do just like whatever else while I'm playing the game or whatever. And it's like that culture of just being told everything and given everything was boring. And so now they're like, we're going to start adding, at least the good games, and start adding so much depth to the game, and then people will find it. And that's fun. I like discovering
I love
things.
games like that. And this game is so awesome. It reminds me of playing Super Mario World and just being able to go deeper into that world.
And it's so beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
It's weird, and it doesn't need to look like it doesn't need better graphics. And in fact, the better graphics, I don't even know what it would do with that. It would be weird.
Yeah.
It does so much more than some games do, and it's a 2D.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It certainly couldn't be done on like an old school console though. Like it's a in-depth game. The amount of space.
It's a huge map.
That map is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Think you've ever gotten. I don't know. If
I got to the beach, and I've met a shark.
Oh, I saw the shark.
And that's as far as I could go.
And does it drop off into ocean after that?
It does.
Can you build a boat?
Yes, I'm sure you can. So I have not gotten there. I'm not even close, mind you.
I would want to get into it, but I want Starbound, which is essentially Terraria but with space.
Right.
And I want that so bad. And I don't want to buy Terraria and then buy that.
Why?
Because I'm an idiot. I don't know.
Okay. Well, whatever.
You know what?
It's a good game.
Know. Can we get another copy? It sucks that be aware that game is not a cross-buy on PlayStation platforms. Because I own it on the Vita. She just bought it on her PSN account.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't go to PS3, Vita, whatever, like a lot of other games do, and I don't understand that.
I don't either.
It's
maybe
money,
eventually it will.
obviously.
Maybe an update or something.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure eventually they'll probably give it away as a PlayStation Plus game. Mm-hmm. With my luck, next month they will.
I know.
But
seriously,
that's what always happens.
I'm okay with the purchase. Like, it's $20, and I definitely know I'm going to get my money's worth out of it.
There's a lot of people on the PlayStation blog who comment like there should be an option to purchase a game that you've received on PlayStation Plus, because you get a game on PlayStation Plus,
right?
And then it's yours for as long as you have the subscription. We'll say you lapse or you're not connected to the internet for a while or something like that,
right? And lose
that? You lose the game.
But when you sign back up into PSN, you get it back.
Like, say you don't want PlayStation Plus anymore, but you still want to play the game that you're supposedly given. Mm-hmm. Well, they can't, or they just want to outright give the developer, like, you love Terraria, you want to give them money, but technically you haven't given them money, you're giving Sony money.
Right.
You can't currently do that. You can't buy the game if you already own it in PlayStation Plus.
Huh, that's really dumb.
So they're talking about fixing it.
They should. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I haven't been listening to the PlayStation blogcast lately, but it was an issue, and they still talk about it in the comments.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's like, I don't mind giving developers my money.
Yeah.
I would do it.
No,
like,
I mean
play
it's
Warframe.
the same thing with the cable situation. It's like, I'd gladly pay for the channels I want.
Yeah.
But I don't want to pay for a whole package that I'm not watching and spend way too much money.
Absolutely.
So,
and that's
just
what
how
cable
it
is. And I think that's how they make their money. Is like, if they give people just what they want, then they're not able to, like, blanket the cost. Because there's a lot of channels that people just don't want.
Right.
And they still have.
Yeah. Well, and there's been a revolution there, too. At one point, people just said, fuck it, we're not going to pay for cable because you guys suck. Yeah. And you're mean, and you charge us way too much money. So we're going to start downloading a bunch of shit, and fuck you guys. Yep. And that's completely changed the television industry. I mean, it has.
Yeah,
they have to change because people aren't paying for it.
And the evolution of because people aren't paying for it, because like people like me haven't had cable in 8 years or something like that. TV's evolved to the point to where the new networks, like we said, are Yahoo, are Netflix, are Hulu. Those are the networks. They can start
contracting with Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, the major TV networks like CBS, ABC, NBC, and just put their shit out on there. I mean, that's what they're going to start doing fully, I'm sure, here soon.
Yeah, they'll integrate one thing eventually when they figure out,
what would really suck?
Working.
It would really suck if the owners of these major, like Ted Turner and all the huge bigwigs that own these cable companies, if they were actually like kind of like secretly like in charge of like Netflix and Hulu and all that stuff, just because I don't like those guys. I mean, it's a smart move. Whoever thought of these ideas were great.
Well, the Netflix guys are really cool.
Yeah,
and I'm almost certain that the original founders are still there. Oh, good. I'm not positive on that, but I've read a bunch of things about them, and they're really cool people. Yeah. The way they took their idea from being an at-home rental place, like they mailed DVDs, to churning it into what they did. I'm sure they're just sitting there
talking like, why can't you just have it pop up?
I remember when they announced, they were like, we're gonna have we have Netflix instant streaming, and I had it on my PC, but I never used it. I never
had it.
And then they were like, we're releasing it on Xbox 360, and I'm like, yes,
yeah,
it was the greatest day. It was almost as exciting as HBO Now,
being
announced, and being able to watch Game of Thrones without actually having cable.
Even though we don't really need it anymore, but whatever.
Well, that's
another story.
Here nor there. But with the evolution of television, we we get things like Daredevil dropped
exactly.
entire seasons
Orange is
of
the
shows.
New Black.
Hemlock Grove.
Yeah, all those ones.
The Ghost was the Ghost one you like on Hulu.
Oh, Deadbeat. Yeah.
Deadbeat, yeah.
Great.
And they drop entire... Actually, that wasn't entirely in one chunk, right?
Yeah, they dropped the entire season down. I mean, there's seasons.
Love that.
And
That's
then,
so great, because that way they can drop entire seasons, and then they just continually do that instead of having 6 shows run concurrently for 6 months, kind of off and on. They have 6 shows running, for 6 months, and you have 1 show a month, and it's like, why not?
It's interesting. It's really changed the way you watch television.
And they take more time.
And then you've got huge companies like Yahoo who basically revolutionized the internet experience. Now, not really in the limelight that much, but they've taken all that money and capital that they've gained and started putting out shows like Other Space and taking on shows like Community and letting people just see them for free, because why the fuck not? And it's great. It's awesome. I love it. Yeah,
it's nothing but good publicity for them to have quality product, and the fact that like these weird little things are happening, like YouTube, like the quality of a YouTube video has increased like 1,000% since 5 years ago.
Yeah, they're mostly little movies now. It's crazy.
So, like we were talking about earlier, they have all these tools, right? And now they're like going, well, not only can we use these, but we can use these well and actually use them to create a vision instead of just be a gimmick.
Yeah.
And they can do whatever they want. It doesn't matter. So they can tell all the stories.
Like everything, we've gone through this history like of our generation, and it's had its rough patches for sure, and it's coming. It's like it's growing up now. It's coming into its own. And it's blossoming into a beautiful flower. But yeah, it's great. It's cool. I'm having fun with it. Yeah,
I mean, it's a good... We grew up in the perfect time.
Yep.
It's a good time to be a nerd. That's for sure. You get all the movies, good or bad. We're getting sequels to everything.
Yeah. Reboots galore.
Yeah, it's like, you like it? Who cares if it's good? You're gonna have it, but whatever.
Yeah, we loved this when we were kids, but
I would much rather have this now. I hope I never get quoted on this, but I'd rather have, the mediocre RoboCop that we had, and it was actually fun. I liked it. Than no new RoboCop at all, and he just drops off existence.
Because at least it got that attention.
In 10 years, some kid who saw that and then went, to go look at the old one. Hopefully, when they're not like the age I saw the original, because it was very violent. And he snorts coke off titties. I think that's where I got my...
You always make a big deal out of the violence of that movie, but honestly, like when I was a kid, I saw some jacked up movies too. Like my mom liked
the fact that it was like my favorite movie ever, though, is kind of weird.
It doesn't say anything about your psyche.
No, I mean,
at all,
if it did, then violent video games would have made me a mass murderer.
Right,
by
exactly.
Now. But some kid who saw 2014, found out it was a reboot, watched the original,
right,
and then like in 10 years they're making a college film, which by then will have like be the equivalent of a $300 million budgeted movie.
Sure, yeah.
Because of technology.
Yeah.
And he'll make a masterpiece or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Who
knows?
It's
like
the sky is the limit at this point.
The sky's the limit. Everything you love is back again. I actually wanted to quick talk about downloadable content. It's a big controversy this week. Batman Arkham Knight's finally coming out in June. And I'm like orgasmically excited for it.
Okay.
They announced it was going to have a season pass. Like all games have season passes. But they announced it at $39.99. It's $40.
The whole
and
season
everybody
pass?
freaked out. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, okay, so you're paying $60 for a video game plus tax.
Right. Plus
and now you want me to pay $40 for stuff, like, oh, it should have been in the game, whatever. I like downloadable content because it expands the game. I don't see it as something that should have already been there.
Right.
I just see it as something more. Well, they announced what they're actually doing, and essentially they're taking what do you call it? Gotham City. They give you this particular game, they give you the whole of Gotham City.
Yeah.
Like, vertical, underground, everything.
Okay.
This is the biggest,
Okay.
version of Gotham City ever made. Or any game, I don't know. And they're giving you that whole self-contained world, but the DLC, what it is it's adding, like, huge chunks of story, like, extra stories.
Oh,
like, they're
cool.
giving you the ability to be Batgirl. They
So
just showed-
basically,
yeah.
you're getting like new games for this $40.
Yeah, and
several
it
of
says
them.
that they update it for with a planned 6-month schedule of every week. They're dropping new missions and new modes and stuff. They're giving you a whole side story where you're Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. When
Right.
in the Arkham games, she's already Oracle. She's already had her Joker in the comic books and everything. Breaks her spine and he shoots her in the back.
We've talked about nerd
Yeah.
snobs before, and I think it's funny because like I understand the reaction to something like that. But come on, give them a break.
Yeah.
They make good games. They're not really going to fuck you over.
Do you remember when games kind of switched over generations and they went from $50 to $60?
Yeah, kind of.
It was I think it was the PS2 Xbox generation.
See, and I didn't.
No.
That's when I was out of gaming for a little while.
Yeah,
I was on that hiatus.
it went up $10.
Yeah.
And it had been $50 forever, and
Yeah.
people freaked out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will. I'll pay $40 for 6 months of extra content. Like after I beat the game, there's so much more. Like I
Right.
love that. It's like Borderlands.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Oh man, so much, and I would spend forever in an Arkham
Sure.
City game.
Sure.
Because I love those games.
Better than wasting money
Yeah.
on DLC like Destiny.
Yeah, and I want to see what happens to Barbara Gordon. I want to see if maybe in the game they actually break her back.
Yeah.
And she becomes Oracle because it's a prequel, obviously.
Sure.
So I don't know if the value is there. I don't mind paying it.
The bottom line is you get what you pay for these days. And
Yeah.
if you're not willing to pay for it, then just don't do it.
Absolutely.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, pay or just I don't
Quit
know.
your bitching.
All right.
And on that note, yeah, I have nothing else to talk about, really.
All right. Well, on this very special May the 4th,
Have a wonderful...
have a wonderful weekend.
Weekend,
We'll be back probably soon with
Maybe
details.
soon, depending on our store, but yeah.
Please visit facebook.com/Forbidden Planet Comics and More. MOAR. We're
Thanks.
working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and have a great week.
Bye, guys.